So in the context of things, um, you know, these elders, as they're providing this environment and doing these things, they create the right place for these things to kind of really give birth. So now, the reason I separated elders and deacons from the other five is because certain important things. There is an element to, so if you look at the five, like the arms and feet of Jesus, right? Like the trainers, the teachers, the doers in many ways of the ministerial, spiritual aspect of the growth of an individual. The elders and the deacons are, like I said before, like the dads that build and create the house where this can happen fluidly. Now we see in the letter from Peter that Peter refers to himself as not only an apostle but an elder. So we get this indication that those who are in the five, at least an apostle for sure, but I could tell if we just use a little wisdom and logic, you can see that there's room for this, that these five fit into this elder role. Right, they can fit into an elder role. So a teacher that operates in that office could also operate as an elder. An apostle can operate as an elder. A pastor can operate as an elder, even though a lot of times people nowadays in the church today, we say that the elder and the pastor can be the same position. But you can see from the things that I've talked about in the videos that they are very different in the way they operate. So though a pastor can be an elder, what we see is how different the elder deacon role is. They're more operational minded. They're more about nurturing, problem solving, like a good manager would, right? So if and these managers of sorts need people to operate the basic needs of the body. So that's where the deacons come in. They have the same attributes as these managers of sorts, and they come in and they serve the body. So one of the things that we know about elders for sure is that, and deacons both, they have to have the capacity to teach. Well, that's kind of pretty much common sense that God has in this, because not only do they have to have good character, but they also have to train the people of God in the things of the Lord. They have to kind of hold themselves to that standard, almost like a priest of the Old Testament, and but here's an element that I want to distinct between the elder and the deacon, for example. Well, an elder carrying that title is like a father, right? A father is a leader no matter what, right? The son can help the father do things in the house and contribute to a lot of the things in the house, but the father still looked as the leader. So an elder is always going to have this governmental leadership quality in everything he does, okay? Really, to be an elder is to be a leader. So can you be a leader as an apostle, pastor, teacher, prophet, evangelist, all those? Yes, in certain contexts you can be. And most apostles tend to be leaders in their own right. But if you notice, if an apostle's not called to be an elder and you box them in this leadership role, then because apostles tend to be travelers and pioneers and want to make a lot of pieces move, what ends up happening, it kind of kills and quenches the spirit a little bit there. So you have to know the distinction. So elders are going to be that fatherly type. They're going to come and you're going to feel welcomed around them. You're going to feel like you can talk to them and get wise counsel, not just like a friend that is going to agree with you. They're going to give you wise counsel, things that are going to really fill you and build good fruit in you. And a good elder would understand that their children are all different, that they're all going to have different gifts. And generally, most elders have that capacity to really kind of bridge the gaps between the callings and the anointings and the giftings. And then the deacon, one distinction there different than the elders, not every deacon is called to lead, because deacons are called to be servants, and not in a bad way. Remember, the Bible says he who wants to be first must be last and servant of all, is what Jesus tells the apostles. So being a servant, Jesus Christ was the ultimate servant. He washed the disciples' feet. He did that. So again, if we look at him as an expression, attributes of the Spirit of God, this is God's Spirit manifesting in an individual with the servant heart. So whether it's meeting the needs of a facility, meeting the needs of a gathering at a home where there's food and they want to make sure that everybody's fed and taken care of, and that's where they get their joy, then the fan needs to be flamed. They have to be recognized. They have to be appointed to those places. Now, how are elders and deacons appointed? Well, the church started with the 12 apostles, and the apostles appointed from there. So apostles, scripturally, are those who make appointings. They appoint. But then we see in the scriptures, we see how the elders also, for example, in Timothy's case, the Bible, Paul talks about and reminds Timothy of when the elders laid hands on him and spoke over him in the ministry he was going to carry. So you see that the elders also have this appointment of laying on of hands and appointing individuals. So when there is an appointing happening where we're recognizing a gift